Is the SoFi Money debit card a scam or is it not, right? Do I recommend it? Do I not recommend it? Does it make sense for you or does it not make sense for you, right? And if you don't know what the SoFi Money card is, by the way, guys, one of you guys actually recommended this video, so thank you. And here's the thing. I did a lot of research on this app, on this application, on this bank, how it actually works, and that's why I'm going to break every single detail down in this video. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about is the test that I run here, right? I talk about the features, the expenses, like if it does make sense for you, right? And the customer service, right? Now, the first thing is this, right? I always grab my phone and call customer service, right? And I'll call customer service right now. And I like doing this because every single time I call customer service, I can get the information straight from the horse's mouth. And then we can have a conversation with the person on the line, ask them all the questions. And then you guys can actually see if that person is actually qualified to be there or if the bank kind of sucks. Okay, so in this case it's called SoFi. The number is 855-456-7634. If you don't believe me, just check the website or the link in the description down below. All right, so let's call them right now.
Hi, and thanks for calling SoFi. Let's get you connected with someone from our team.
Okay.
Do you have an existing product or application for personal loans? Please press or say hi, and thanks for calling SoFi. We're away from the phone for now, but we'll be back during our normal business hours. Give us a call anytime, Monday through Thursday, from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, that's all I need to hear. Now, this means that the customer service base is not 24/7, and you guys know that I'm really big on this, okay? For example, right, say I'm walking around, I just got my SoFi card, I'm super happy, super pumped, all right? I'm happy, I'm walking around the streets, it's dark at night, somebody comes to me and they're like, all right, give me all your money, or, you know, it's gonna be bad news for you, buddy. And I'm like, all right, here's the deal, bro. I don't have any cash, I don't have any Bitcoin, all I have is this SoFi debit card, like, what are you gonna do with it, all right? And he tells me, well, I'm not dumb, I'm not gonna take the SoFi debit card because I know you're just gonna lock it because I'm a smart robber. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you for your address, your zip code, the 3 digits at the back of the card, and I'm gonna go on Amazon with you and order all this appliance stuff because, you know, I need to buy some stuff from Amazon. All right, so here's what happens. He orders all the stuff, he scams me, he takes all my money, and then I come home and I have to wait until the next day to actually call SoFi and actually tell him, hey, some guy robbed me last night and I couldn't call you guys because you guys were not available. I froze the card, but it's too late because he already spent the money. And on top of that, yeah, I'm kind of worried, like what's gonna happen now, you know? And that's something that I don't like, right? And for example, that's not the only experience, guys, because it's obviously like a security thing, and obviously like you want to feel like you always have the opportunity to actually talk to people, real people on the phone. In this case, you don't have that here with SoFi, but it's not such a big deal because from Monday to Thursday, it's from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. So I hope you don't get robbed between like from 9 p.m. and after, basically. All right, so that's the main thing. Okay, I can't do the customer service base, but I will tell you all the features and if it actually does make sense to you guys. All right, now the first thing is this, right? I like comparing things, and the main reason I like comparing things is that that's how you actually see what's actually better and what's not better, all right? So, for example, right, the competition that SoFi is actually going up against is traditional big banks, right? And that's very easy for them to actually take over and actually say like, all right, we're better than them. Here's why. We charge no fees. We don't have this. We don't have that. We have a better savings account, blah, blah, blah. We heard it all before. But the real competition with these new online banks are Varo, the Chime app, Aspirational Bank, and all these other online banks that are coming out now, right? So how does it stack up when you compare it to one of these other apps, right? Now, the first thing is this, right? You go inside of this app. It's actually very good. Like, they did a very good job with the app. And by the way, guys, I went to the website, right? And every single thing that I've ever said in my videos, and I say like, oh my gosh, they shouldn't hide the number. They should always have this here. They should have this there. They should have this there. Like, I don't know if they watched my videos or not, but they did exactly what I said in my videos, and they don't hide their numbers. They put all the information right there for you to see it, and they do a very good job of being transparent. Now, the first thing is this, right? How do they stack up against Varo? For example, right? Varo is one of the best ones out there, and whenever somebody asks me about Varo or any other online bank, I always say like, you know, go with Varo for now, or just stick to your traditional bank and just get like a savings account, okay? But in this case, here's what's going on with the SoFi, right? They're advertising a few things that are very like, you know, clickbaity, buzzwords to kind of get you pumped and actually be like, okay, I want to get this, I want to get this, I want to get this, right? The first thing is this, right? Well, you know, we have no ATM fees, right? And that's one of my favorite parts about this bank. There's no ATM fees. You get reimbursed in all your ATM fees. So say, for example, like in Walmart, there's an ATM there. I use it, no fee. And if I do get charged a fee from that person, I call them or I report it and they tell me, all right, here's your ATM fee back at the end of the month, right? Same thing as, for example, if I'm worldwide, right? If I'm like in another country, in Hawaii, and I use the ATM, guess what happens? By the way, let me not use a state, right? If I'm like in India and I use like an ATM, I get paid back my money, no problem. And that's something that I really like. But I do want to say something, right? Remember, guys, that when you are in a foreign place, there is an exchange rate. So you might get charged like a 1% margin on that money that you just took out, but SoFi won't charge you anything. And here's the thing. I did search up like the fees that they have on their entire thing, and I didn't like find any. Like it's like completely like zero. They have like replacement fees. Like for example, if you lose your card, you get charged $25. And if you don't pay child support, and then your girlfriend or boyfriend is like, you know what? I want the court to take the money from your account. They're gonna charge you $100 for all that stuff. Okay, so make sure you pay child support. Now, here's the thing. They do a very good job, and I'm not going to complain about a lot of things because I want to go over all the pros, but I also want to go over the cons. And the cons are very, very big cons for me because in reality, I don't have the SoFi app. I don't have the Varo app. I don't have the Chime app. I don't have a lot of these apps. And the reason I stick to like Chase, right? And these big banks like Bank of America, TD Bank, like the big conglomerates banks, it's mainly because I can bank with them and only them. And most of the time with these banks, you kind of need to have like a third party bank to actually bank with them so you can actually send them money and all this stuff. And I don't like that, all right? Because for example, right, I cannot deposit, well, I'll say right now, right? I cannot deposit cash into my account. Now, you might tell me, Tommy, what are you talking about? You know, you just go to an ATM, you just deposit the money. I know, bro. I know how ATMs work. But in this case, you can't do it with these online banks. Why? Because they don't accept cash yet. And here's how it works, right? If you want to deposit money inside of your bank thing, like you need a check, or you need like a direct deposit, like going inside of there, or you need to use your Chase, like, or your BOA account and send the money from that account to the over there so you can actually have access to it. You can't go to an ATM and say like, hey, I want to deposit this $100 and put it into my account. It doesn't work like that. They don't have that. Now, you might say, Tommy, that's not such a big deal because I got paid direct deposit. Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I have to like put the money inside of my account every single day because I'm constantly making money in cash. All right. Here's the deal. I think that this is going to be like the new norm, and I think people are actually pushing for this. The reason is because you know how Elon Musk said, well, you know, cash is going to be obsolete. It's a time of the past, a thing of the past, blah, blah, blah. I think he's not that far off, but still think that cash is very important, and if you can hold on to cash, even better. So let's talk about the pros and the cons to this entire app. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, ATM, savings accounts, customer service, financial advice, articles. They have a whole bunch of things that I'm very much a big fan of. Now, for example, no ATM fees, right? The savings accounts APR or APY in this case is 2.25%. They're competing with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. I've said this several times. If you want to get a savings account, I always recommend Marcus by Goldman Sachs because they offer 2.25% on a savings and 2.70% on a 1-year CD promotional base. All right. And on top of that, I started recommending another bank that's called BVAA Bank. And they recommend, well, they have an APR of like 2.40%. And on top of that, I also recommend the Varo, right? And I'm always recommending things, guys, because there's always something new that's coming out, okay? The Varo offer you 2.10%, I think 2.10% or 2.15%. And on top of that, if you set up direct deposit, you get paid 2.80% a month on your savings accounts, okay? Now, something else, customer service. I read the reviews, and the reviews are going crazy about customer service. They say that the reviews are very good for customer service. I personally haven't tested it out, and I'm kind of a big bummer on that because I can't call 24/7, so that's already an X for me. But they do say that there's qualified people over there, so that's great. But I'm more of like, you know, like a just give me customer service all the time. And when it comes to advisors and budgeting and articles inside of an app, I've never heard about this, but in several of my videos, I always recommend apps do this, okay? That they recommend you stuff like reading material and tell you exactly why a budget is important and kind of implement that inside of your account. And SoFi is doing that, okay? So inside of the app, they have an entire budgeting system that tracks your spending, and through tracking your spending, they actually calculate what a good budget would be for you. Okay, and here's one more thing, right? SoFi has something that I've never heard any other bank do this before in my life, unless like I'm going crazy, and it's that it lets you have access to a financial advisor that gives you financial advice for free, basically. You can schedule an appointment online, and you basically talk to someone that's a professional, okay? So imagine like you have access to me 24/7. You can just call me. You can be like, hey, Tommy, I need some advice on stocks. I need some advice on this, like blah, blah, blah. Like they give, not stocks, okay? Because they're not like, that's not legal to do, all right? But they can they have advisors there that actually advise you on budgeting and stuff like that, which is very interesting to me. I never heard about that. On top of that, they have articles, like I said before, and these articles are very in-depth. I read a few, honestly, and they're very good. They teach you, like, you know, how to budget, how to do certain things. I don't agree with like all the information inside of them, and you know, that's gonna be fair because I'm kind of more of like, you know, simple guy, but it's good to have some material out there to actually help you. Now guys, when it comes to the pros, that's basically about it, okay? All these apps are basically doing the same thing. There's nothing really unique about it, but there is something unique about it when it comes to the advisors, the no fees on the ATMs, and all this stuff, but it's basically the same thing, okay? All right, we get the money 2 days early. In this case, you don't get the money 2 days early, all right? So it's not like Chime, but you get you get the money early, you get no fees, you get all this stuff, and they're competing against like the big banks. And here's my thing, okay? It's basically all the same thing. All these online banks are basically doing the same thing. They're advertising the same stuff because they're trying to get you to actually register for them. And I'm going to tell you in the end if I actually recommend it, if I don't recommend it. But here's the thing. It's always like, all right, no fees, high APR. We get you financial information. Only SoFi does this, by the way. Give you financial information. And on top of that, we actually give you an advisor. And on top of that, we also give you a budget. Okay, and we're also FDIC approved in case you want to be like, all right, I'm going to lose my money. That's not going to happen. And on top of that, they have like qualified people at customer service from 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. I still wish you guys were 24/7, so invest some money in that. If you're wondering, Tommy, how do these people make money if they don't charge any fees? The answer is they make money off of interest on your money inside of your account. On top of that, they get money every time you swipe your card and a whole bunch of other lucrative ways. On top of that, privacy is very big these days for you guys and also for me. They don't sell your information, but they also do have like affiliate people that they actually do sell your information. Well, not sell your information to, they share your information with them. So for example, you might sign up for SoFi and all of a sudden you get like an ad for like, like get a loan or get this or get that. Like you're pre-qualified for this or you're pre-qualified for that. But it's actually very good because in reality, you can turn these features on and off if you just call in and you be like, hey, I don't want you guys to share any of my information whatsoever with anyone. So that's very good. And they were very transparent about that. Now, when it comes to the cons of the entire thing, the cons are very, very big to me. And personally, with me, I wouldn't sign up for the app because of these features. Okay. Now, the first thing is, all right, I can't deposit cash. It's a big drawback for me, all right? If I have cash, I want to be able to deposit whenever I want, however I want. Second, I don't want any limits, all right? I hate limits. I don't like limits at all. If I have $100,000 in the bank, I want to be able to take out $99,999 or even the whole $100,000 whenever I want, however I want, for whatever reason I want. But in this case, if you have $10,000 in the bank, they have a limit of okay, this is crazy. They have a limit of $610 ATM withdrawals. For you, might not be a big deal, but for me, that's a huge deal, all right? Because when I go to the bank and I'm taking out money, I'm taking out much, well, I'm not going to say that, all right? Because before that story actually becomes real and I actually get robbed, all right? But I take out more money, all right? On top of that, they have a limit to peer-to-peer sending. I think it's around $250 a day. What this means is that you can only send your friends like $250 a day, like through Zelle, through like all those like peer-to-peer stuff. And it's only like $3,000 max you can do a month, right? And let's compare it a little bit, all right? Now, with big banks, I can send my friends like $2,000 a day, $36,000 a month, all right? And on top of that, if I want to send more money to them, I can just call and say, like, hey, I'm sending more money. Make sure this goes through and it's approved, all right? It is me that send it. Here's my information to confirm it. Just make sure the transaction goes through because I want to send that money. And not just that, guys, but you also have a limit on how much you can spend a day. You can only spend a day $3,000, and you can only do like 12. Like you can only do 12 transactions a day. This might not be like such a big drawback for you, but for my channel and people that usually watch my channel, we're all entrepreneurs. We're all trying to get ahead in life, and $3,000 a day, like that's not so much money. For example, if I want to go to make this deal or like buy this like a whole bunch of stuff like to actually like resell, or like go like to inside of like Sam's Club or anywhere and like buy like 10,000 pairs of shoes so I can put it on Amazon and just like sell it over there. I can't be limited to anything, and that's the main thing. And I can't be limited to 12 transactions a day. So here's my overall thing when it comes to the SoFi app, right? I think this is one of the most forward-thinking companies out there right now, aside from Varo and a few others here. And well, not a few others. There's no one like Varo and this app really, okay? Now, here's why. They give you a 2.25% APR on a savings, which is very good. And they also give you no ATM fees, customer service-based financial advisors, and it's crazy. They also give you articles on how to actually improve your financial situation. And I really like that about them, okay? Because it's very transparent. They don't charge you any fees whatsoever. And they don't have this BS, pay what is fair. For example, like the earning app, the video I made about the earning app, how to tell you, like, just pay what is fair. Just pay whatever you want. Just tip whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. And you have the aspiration app, which is like, just pay whatever you want. Just tip whatever you want. They don't have that BS. It's basically no fees whatsoever. You don't have to pay us anything, all right? There's no tips, nothing, all right? Just do whatever you want. use the card, we'll get paid either way. All right, I like that about them. They're very transparent about that. The cons are basically I can't deposit cash, and I have limits on how much I can take out. And I think that all these little features, by the way, guys, this is not the average things, okay? It bothers me because I'm not really the average person. It might bother you because you're not the average person either. But on average, you know, a regular person is not spending $3,000 a day. They're spending like maybe $100, $200 here and there, and it's not such a big deal. They're taking out like $300 from the ATM, not a big deal. They don't even really need to deposit money because, hey, they have direct deposit, or they can just like, you know, take a picture of their checks. And by the way, if you're wondering how long does it actually take to get like those checks like inside of your account, it's 1 to 4 business days. And I don't really like that much because, you know, if you go to Chase, you know, you take a picture, you snap it, it's inside of your account instantly if you have a good reputation with them. And they also give you like a available balance or percentage of the check you can actually use, and then lock in the rest. So for example, if I deposit $200 in a check to Chase, they'll say like, well, you can use $50 worth and we'll keep the $150 until we can actually clear the check. If it flops, then you're going to be charged, obviously. But if it doesn't flop, then you're good to go and we just like clear the whole check, right? Which I really like about it. So guys, my final perspective on this entire app is, do I recommend it or do I not recommend it, right? I recommend it if you don't really care about the limits. I don't recommend it if you're like an entrepreneur and you need cash all the time, you need to deposit money. Don't recommend it. Doesn't make any sense for you yet. So what's the alternative to this entire thing? Okay, the alternative is that you stick to your regular bank, right? Because if you have a regular bank and you're depositing like maybe over $500 a month, you skip all the maintenance fees and you skip all that stuff. And I assume that you're responsible, so you don't even get hit with overdraft fees, right? Because you only get hit with overdraft fees if you're not really that responsible, or if you had an accident or whatever. Okay, so that's fine. And when it comes to savings accounts, I recommend you get Marcus by Goldman Sachs because they give you the same 2.25%, and that's fine also. There's also PVA, there's also Discover, there's a whole bunch of other alternatives out there. But if you want something that's very good, very concise, and has everything you need from financial advice and financial advisors, and you don't really care about the limits because you're not really spending that much money, then get SoFi. It makes sense. Trust me, it makes sense. And here's my deal. Here's what I think. Here's my prediction. I think that these apps are like this for now, but eventually, like maybe 3 years on the line, 2 years on the line, when they actually get a hold of everything that they're actually doing, they're going to increase all this stuff. So there will be no limits. You know, there won't be any like 9 to 4 customer service. There's only going to be like 24 hours customer service. Everything's going to be perfect because they're going to have more experience and more data to actually quantify if it actually makes sense for them. And if you're wondering, Tommy, these things are actually going to put like, you know, big banks out of business, the answer is no. It's not going to happen, okay? Big banks have over 25 million active users on their platforms, on their online platforms, okay? Most of them are millennials, okay? So they're not really out with the times. Like, what they're doing is basically, well, rather than advertising no fees, we're just going to give you more bonuses on credit cards. And when you use the credit cards and you get points and you carry a balance, we're just going to charge you. Guys, my name's TommyBryson. If you like this video and you like anything I have to say, make sure you like and subscribe and comment. It really helps the video out like crazy because every time you comment and you like, you subscribe, and you do all that stuff, it basically gives me like engagement, and then other people can actually see the video because that's how YouTube works out here, okay? So make sure you like and comment. By the way, if you comment down below and you give me an idea, if you made it to the end of the video, by the way, I will respond. But here's the deal. If you give me an idea, I usually do the idea between 1 to 2 days, kind of like clearing a check. So give me an idea down in the comments down below because I'm always running out of ideas. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time on the next video, and peace.
You've got to start